Okay, again, I'm just gonna take off where we left from yesterday. I'm on 43. All right, hopefully you decided to do the odds just to see how much you know. All right, then we'll get busy on the evens. Here we go. So again, anytime you get a fraction, you should reduce the fraction if you can. What does that mean? That means you're supposed to look at the 12 and the 14 and see that that can be divided by 2. So you end up with 6/7. All right. Then to make it easier on yourself, you should look at the 5 and the 40 and say that reduces to 1/8. Now I put the square root of 1 just as a point of reference. All right. What? All right. You're not here yesterday?
Oh, no.
All right. So again, from this point, you can just say square root of 1 is 6. So the numerator is 6. Now, of course, you're looking at the 8 and saying, okay, that's a perfect square in 8. All right, is 4 and 2. So the 4 comes out as a 2, and you multiply it by that 7, which makes 14 radical 2. All right, now again, you're supposed to be checking your work, not just writing the answers down. All right, that's the problem some of you are having. You're not trying it. All right, you watch me do it, and then you think you're okay because you watched me do things. You have to do the work. All right, final step is to reduce, again, by a factor of 2. So we end up with 3/7 radical 2. Anybody have any questions with 43? What?
I just don't understand how you get like 14 out of it.
Because you break down 8.
Yeah.
So 7, 4 times 2. What's the square root of 4? So what do you do with the 2 and the 7? There you go. That's it. Keep in mind what holds these things together. Multiplication. All right. If you don't see a sign, most of the time it's multiplication. All right. Check out 45. Let's see how you did on that. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. I'm in a hurry. So you multiply the top and bottom by square root of 2, and then you get 3 radical 2 over 14. Over 14. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. And then 2 times 7. Hello? Okay, thank you. Jackson, read your iPad. All right. I don't want you to miss anything. Hurry up. All right, not like usual. Okay, thank you for that, both y'all. All right, 3 radical 2 over 14. Come on. Anybody else? Anybody else? Go. All right, here we go. Let's move on, move forward. 45. Again, we see a fraction. So you should try to do what? Reduce the fraction. Radicals can be reduced. Numbers can be reduced. All right, does 3 and 60 reduce? Yes. So it's, again, square root of 1 over square root of what? 20. Now, do I need the square root of 1 though? No. Yeah, you shouldn't have to do that. You should automatically just say in your head, well, that's a 1. All right, now 20 breaks down to what? So that's going to be very good. 2 what? 2 radical 5. Come on, how's that? Keep going. 2 radical 5. Anybody have any issues? And then from there, guys, what am I doing? Radical 5, right. So I'm going to put radical 5 and radical 5. So I get radical 5 over what? 10. Thank you very much. Radical 5 over 10. Radical 5 over 10. Anybody have any issues with that? Any issues? Any issues? All right. 47. We've done this a bunch. We've done this a bunch. Now, right off the bat, I'm looking at these thinking 10s, correct? So 40 is what? 10 times 4. The 4 comes out as a, but there's a 5 out in the front. 10 radical what? 10 radical 10. Minus what? 5 radical 10. Plus 24 radical 10. Now, come on, you should, if you've done it enough, you should be getting better at just recognizing the perfect squares and pulling them out. All right. Now, if I need to, I don't mind breaking it down for somebody. Anybody need me to still break it down? Anybody? What? Okay, so the final answer here is what? 29 radical 10. All right, 29 radical 10. All right, any questions with that? Now what? Probably not. I'll show you. What's wrong?
Like, so I got 6/14 out of 2. I don't know.
You're having trouble reducing the fraction 6/14. That's what you're telling me.
So sweet.
No, just asking a question.
Sure.
So you're having trouble reducing 6/14.
Why did you do that before you moved to 2?
You said you were here, so I'm really helping you, okay? I know sometimes you don't think so, right? But I'm asking you, what you need to be able to do next year is when the teacher writes something, you need to say from here to here, what did he do? You see what I'm saying? You're looking at the 6 and the 14, that changed. Do you agree?
Yeah.
So how did I get 3 and 7? Reduce the fraction, true? That's what I need you to be able to do. You agree with that? So all I did was I just reduced the fraction.
Okay.
You with me now? Okay, so now are you good with this step? And do I need to explain this step or are you all comfortable now?
Well, why did it go to 14?
We explained it right
Oh,
here,
wow.
right?
But why did you do 6/14 reduced before you moved to 2?
Because I never look at the fraction 6/14, and in my head, I don't even register 6/14. You're always trying to simplify the process. The numbers are easier if you simplify as you go. Now you happy?
Yeah.
Everything's good. All right, here we go. Let's go. We got to work. 49. All right, now I would suggest 49 is the hardest one. All right, on everything that you're going to do tomorrow, that's the hardest. All right. Now, of course, you just have to multiply by what?
2 minus 3 radical 6.
Yeah, come on. There's no way to know that unless you are paying attention. There's just no way to know that. All right. It's called the conjugate. All right. You're not allowed to have square roots in the denominator. So you multiply by the conjugate. It's always the opposite sign of this. If it's a minus, it would have been a what? Plus. If it's a plus, now it's a what? And now it's just, can you perform all the operations that we've been doing on this worksheet? That's why this is the most important one, because there's addition involved, multiplication, rationalizing, everything. All right. So here we go. Equals. All right, let's take care of this. Square root of 6 times 2. 2 radical 6. Radical 6 times 3 radical 6. Everybody should be able to look at that and say, okay, come on, that's just what? Negative 18. All right. Now, why do we do that? Because you're supposed to say at this stage, square root of 6 times square root of 6 is what? 6. And then there's a 3 out in front. So what do I do with the 6 and the 3? Multiply it. How's that, guys? Easy. You're just distributing. All right. Now we look at the denominator. What happens to the middle term? It cancels. Who doesn't know what I'm talking about? The middle term will cancel because we did the smiley faces. 6 radical 6 and negative 6 radical 6. What do? They cancel. All right. Now somebody's got to tell me what's 2 times 2? 4. Now the hard one. 3 radical 6 times negative 3 radical 6. 3 radical 6 times negative 3 radical 6. Come on, guys. Somebody said it. Negative 54. Everybody should be able to say that. If you don't know that, then you're not very good. It's just really, that's the honest truth. All right, someone needs to tell you the truth.
Wait, Mr. Trout.
Listen to what I'm saying. 3 times 3 is what?
9.
Now you should be able to tell me square root of 6 times square root of 6 is what? 6. Now you can say the square root of 36, but that just takes you one more step. So when somebody says square root of 6 times square root of 6, you're now just going to say what? 6. And then of course 6 times 9. 54. Tell me quick.
So I just think I'm confused with the smiley faces. Like,
They cancel out. We've been doing that for months.
no, but I just, like, never know how to do it.
You're just multiplying these two things together. 3 times 2 is what? 2 times negative 3. What do they do? All right, here we go. Now, simplifying. I end up with 2 radical 6 minus 18 over negative 50. Now, come on. All right, now you're looking at that, and hopefully you're saying, what can I reduce? I can reduce by 2. All right, now, there is a radical there. Does the 2 go into the radical? No. 2's go with what? Whole numbers, with real number, with rational numbers. All right, 6 is the irrational. So now, instead of dividing by 2, though, I'm going to divide by negative 2. If you just divide by 2, I don't care. I'm just saying traditionally we don't put negatives in the denominator. So if you're paying attention on the test tomorrow, you'll just write it as negative 1 radical 6 plus 9 over 25. Now I know the negative 1 doesn't have to be there. You don't have to tell me that. I know that. I'm showing you that I divided 2 by what? Negative 2. I'm showing you I divided negative 18 by negative 2. I'm showing you I divided negative 50 by negative 2. Make it a good one.
So if you don't divide by.
What did I say?
Huh?
What you have to divide by 2.
Well, no. Like if you don't divide, like if the denominator is a negative on the test.
I already answered that. I said I don't care. I said I don't care. If you want the negative in the bottom, put it in the bottom. But when you take a standardized test, guess what? They're never going to have a negative on the bottom. All right. And that's what kids have trouble with. I'm trying to show you that if you're answering questions like I'm telling you, it's setting you up for the SATs, for the ACTs, for the ERBs. Those are the little types of things that are annoying to kids, right? If you put a negative on the bottom, the answer you're thinking is 1 radical 6 minus 9 over negative 25. Now, most kids can't look at this and say, yeah, those two things are equal. I mean, it's kind of silly that they can't, but most kids cannot, right? So this is the one right here that's going to be the answer on the test. This one is not. And kids will think there's a problem, not realizing those mean exactly what? The same thing. All right. You're never going to get a wrong answer if you put the right answer. I don't care where the negative is either. I'm just trying to show you the negative traditionally does not go in the denominator. All right. When you see a fraction negative 1/2, it's negative 1 over 2 or negative 1 over 2. I've never see it written as 1 over negative 2 ever. You with me now? All right. I don't care. All right. Here we go. 51. All right. Now we have time to do the little smiley faces for those of us who still don't know that. All right. 9 times 6 is what? 54. Now I like to do this smiley face. How much is that?
Negative 12 radical 7.
Negative 12 radical 7. Come on, participate. This right here is how much?
36 radical 7.
Plus 36 radical 7. Now you have to be careful. All right. The hardest one is always at the end. So you're just saying to yourself, negative 2 times 4, negative 8, and then radical 7 times radical 7 is 7. Right. And again, some of you guys are good enough. You don't have to write that. You just write negative 56. All right. It's not necessary if you've been practicing and doing these problems. It's just automatic. All right. That's how you talk in math. All right. At the higher level. All right. You just don't have to do all that work. You just know that's the answer. All right, now, of course, we're saying 54 minus 56. What's that? -2. And then these two tied together are what? 24 radical 7. Come on now. Concentrate. Come on, I just did 51. You're behind now. All right, here we go. Go back to the top. Number 2, chop chop. Anybody? Tell me. Go.
-3 x squared radical 2.
Wow, that's really nice. Everybody should be able to just see it. -3x squared radical 2. Anybody got a problem with that? Anybody? Good with that or not?
What other ones
Remember, the rule is divide by 2. This is divisible by 2, so there's no x's left. All right, if it's an odd exponent, it's got to stay behind. All right, so now I'm on number 4. All right, go.
Plus or minus 8x
Good.
radical 3.
Exactly. Thank you very much for that information. Now, again, I'm just telling you, if you're just writing it down, it's not helpful. All right. Anybody would like me to break that down for you? Brennan, you okay with that? Or you just want me to go on to the next one? It's not good. Come on, Brennan. Big quiz tomorrow now. Trying to make you a little bit smarter every day. What am I doing here? Do you need help or not?
Yes, anytime.
With what?
12x.
Okay, so 12 breaks down to 4 times 3. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
And x to the 9th, because it's an odd, remember it has to be x to the 8th and x. Divide exponents by 2. That's how I got x to the 4th. Then we say square root of 4 is 2, but there's a 4 on the outside, so that's why it's 8. You good with this? Anybody else? All right, let's move on. Square root of 288. I would like everybody to see 2 times what? 144. Is it possible to break it down lots of different ways?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Anybody have any questions with that? All right. So if you didn't know 2 times 144, it's totally okay. All right. But now, again, notice I'm doing these problems. All right. If you haven't done them yourself, you need to go back and make sure you're doing it. So final answer here is what? 12 radical 2. 12 radical 2. All right, here we go with number 8. All right, this one should be lightning quick. Everybody should be able to see this right off the bat. All right, there's no work in here, really. Just distribute the square root of 6. And when I distribute the square root of 6, I get? Thank you very much. 6 minus 5 radical 6. Anybody have any issues? Go.
You explain what you did.
I just multiplied 6 times radical 6.
Okay.
And then I distributed that to that, correct?
Yep.
And I'm trying to convince you guys, radicals or rationals and irrationals don't multiply together. Anybody else? Mr. Ward, you good with that?
I thought, can you not split the 6?
No, well, you can 2 times 3, but neither one of those is a perfect square. What?
Then why don't we just minus 5 and 6?
Because look, that's important. Look up on the board. This is called an irrational number. This is called a rational number. You can't put rationals and irrationals together. It's like X and Y. You don't put X and Y together. If I said, what's X times Y, you put it together as XY. If I say, what's X plus Y, you say, that's the answer, X plus Y. All right. You can multiply things. You just can't add or subtract them. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Again, number 10. Quickly. What happens to the middle term? Cancels. All right. So this should be relatively quick for you. 2 times 2. 4. What happens to the middle term? Square root of 5 times square root of 5. Is it positive or negative? -5, guys. Come on, that's easy. Easy. What is that? -1. -1. Some of you are getting good at it. All right, I told you, it's easy, really super duper important to do advanced math. You've got to
Mr.
know
Sharp.
how to do the radicals. Yes,
I have a question.
speak up loud.
Okay, why do you get rid of the radical sign after you do number 5, after you do 5?
Are you asking me what square root of 5 times square root of 5 is?
Well, I know it's 5, but do you just get rid of the radical sign after that?
Well, you just said you know radical 5 times radical 5 is 5.
So you don't keep the radical sign after that, though.
Well, that means you're not sure what radical 5 times radical 5 means. Radical 5 times radical 5 means radical 25. What's the
Oh.
square root of 25?
5.
That's why there's no radical,
Okay.
right? Anytime you multiply a radical by itself, it's that number.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah.
All right, speak up, girl. Come on. All right, you got to speak up. All right, here we go. Let's knock out 12. All right, by now, everybody should be able to look at 48 and say we've done it 100 times. So everybody knows 48 is what? 16 and 3. Everybody should know that. If you don't, you just haven't done the work. All right, I don't want to break it down 4 and 12 and then 4 and 3. I just want to look at 48 and say 48 comes out 4. What about x to the 16th? X to the 8th, because we're dividing by 2. And what's left behind? 3. Avery, how is that?
Good.
You good? Avery?
Yeah.
All right, here we
Yes.
go. Let's knock out 14. Here we go. Okay, 14 should be simple, simple, simple on the test tomorrow. You should just look at it and write the answer. Everybody should be able to just write 2 radical 5 over 5. All right, that's the answer. Now, why is that? Because you're not allowed to have radicals in the denominator. So you're just multiplying the top and bottom by square root of 5. Avery, again, radical 5 times radical 5 is 5. All right.
Okay.
You happy with that now?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Let's knock out 16. All right, again, 125. How many times have we done 125? 25 times 5. All right, now x to the 9th breaks down to?
X to 8 next.
Yes, and then leave the evens, plus or minus. All right. Final answer here, guys. Let's go.
5x to the 4th, y to the 5th, a radical 5x.
And don't forget the what? Don't forget the plus or minus. All right. Easy as that. Anybody? Good. All right, here we go. Let's knock out 18. Okay, now again, 864 is annoying on purpose. All right. Now, anybody?
I got 12 XY.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I need to break down 864. I'm really happy that you know that. Shh. But I need to look at 864 because that's not something I'm expecting you to know, right? So what did you do?
144 and 6.
Okay, for whatever reason, he did 144 times 6. I'm not sure most people know that. All right, I'm not sure most people know that. So I'm really happy with you on that. But what I want to do is I want to take square root of 864 and let's break it down so people can see that process just in case. All right, obviously, what number goes into 864? 4 does. Exactly. How do I know 4 did? Because the last 2 digits are divisible by 4, so it's divisible by 4, if you didn't know that. So now I'm going 4 times, 4 goes into 8 twice, 4 goes into 6 once, 2 left over, 216. All right, now does 4 go into, well, add up the digits here, 2, 1, and 6. Does everybody see that? Add those up, that's 9, correct? So we can divide by 9. 9 is a perfect square. 4 times, and then 9 times. 9 goes into 21 twice. 3 left over. 9 goes into 36 4 times. So now, is there a perfect square in 24? 4 and 6. So 4 times 9 times 4 times 6. x squared, y squared, y. Please look at that now. All right, that's important. I'm not expecting anybody to look at 864 and say, well, that's 6 times 144. All right, does anybody have any questions with that? That's how you find the perfect squares. Now, everybody needs to tell me what's the square root of 4? Square root of 9. Square root of 4. Square root of x squared. Square root of y squared. What's left behind?
I'm at 6.
I think a 6y. Does everybody agree with that? And then what happens to 2, 3, and 2? Makes what? 12 xy radical 6y. That's a really important problem right there. All right. If you knew how to break down 864, then you are really good at square roots. All right. So here we go. Let's knock out 20 now. All right, here we go. 5 minus 3 radical 2 squared. I'm hoping you're big enough to do the pattern. What's 5 squared? 25. What's 5 times negative 3? Times 2. Negative 30 radical 2 is the middle term. And now I have to square this. Come on, guys. Everybody's going to square that. What's 3 squared? What's square root of 2 squared? 2. 9 times 2. Is it positive or negative? Positive or negative? Positive. So everybody take a look at that. Now, do you need me to say why that's 18 again? Avery, are you good with that being 18?
Yeah, can you explain?
3 radical 2 times 3 radical 2. What's 3 times 3?
9.
What's
9.
radical 2 times radical 2?
2.
2. So 18.
Yes. And don't forget, they're both negatives though, right? So now 25 plus 18. There we have it. Now, if you don't like that, remember, you can write it as 5 minus 3 radical 2, and then 5 minus 3 radical 2. And then that's negative 15 and negative 15. That's how I make the negative 30. All right. But again, I'm trying to get you to know the patterns, correct? All right. Here we go, 22. All right, this is just, can you do the math in your head? Answer to 22 is what? How much? No, not 22. What is it? Stop. Not 16 radical 3.
Negative 48.
How much?
Negative 48.
You're almost right. Positive 48. Who said positive 48? You said negative.
I said that.
Yeah, now the reason, again, take a look. For those of you guys who made a mistake, a negative squared is going to be what? Positive. So now you're just saying, what's 4 squared?
16.
What's square root of 3 squared? 3. 16 times 3. 48. Everybody good on that? Any issues? All right, let's take a look at 24. What happens to the middle term? Cancels. Square root of x times square root of x. Negative 1 times positive 1. Be careful. I said square root of x. Come on, Brennan. Square root of x times square root of x is what? X. You can say x squared, but then you have to take the square root of x squared, which is x. Any issues? Any issues? Avery, how's that?
Good.
All right, 26. Now it ends into 25. So if I had, how many quarters are there in $3.25? 13. That's what you should be thinking. 13 times 25, x to the 6, square root, plus or minus. Final answer. Plus or minus. Square root 13. Good. Everybody's good? All right, here we go. All right, this one is considered the hard one. All right, so we have to multiply by the conjugate, which is
3 plus radical 5.
3 plus radical 5. 3 plus radical 5. Tell me, go.
6 plus 2 radical 5
Over.
over 9 minus 5.
Exactly. Very good. 9 minus 5. Everybody, come on. Everybody can do that. All right. It just takes a little bit of practice. All right. Is everybody okay with 9 minus 5? Middle term canceled out. Does that make sense now, Miss Appleton? The middle term canceled out, right? You sure? All right. So, okay, today we just say 9 minus 5 is what? 4. And now I can just divide everything by what? So I have 3 plus 1 radical 5 over 2. Don't ask me if the 1 has to be there. I know it doesn't. All right, it's there to show you I divided by 2. Everybody's good on that? All right, here we go. 30. Well, we've seen that number before. 144 and 2. So that answer is just 12x squared radical 2. 12x squared radical 2. Everybody's good on this? All right, here we go. Okay, now this one's important. So I want to just review this with everybody. What is common with 21 and 6? Come on now, Avery, I need you to listen on this one. What is common with 21 and 6? A 3. There are 2 3s. Because there are 2 3s, it comes out as a 3. And then this is a 7 and a what? 2 is left behind. So that leaves me with radical what? 14. All right. Say it again. What did you say? Okay, 21 is 7 times 3 and 6 is 3 times 2. There is a common 3. So that 3 right there, those 2 3s come out right there. What's left behind? And which makes, there you have it. And then minus 7 radical 21. Go. I don't know what you're asking me. I'm multiplying the square root of 21, this by square root of 21 and this by square root of 21 because I'm using the distributive property. I don't know what it never left. The square root of 21 is being multiplied by 7. Right? I'm distributing a square root of 21. I multiply square root of 21 times that and square root of 21 times that. You with me? Okay. 34. Let's knock that out. All right. Does the middle term cancel? No, it does not. It does not. So here we go. 4 times 2. 8. Smiley face here. How much?
4 radical 3.
Plus 4 radical 3. Second smiley face. Negative what?
28.
28 radical 3. Okay, please get this right now. Positive times a negative.
Negative.
2 times 7. Square root of 3 times 3. Come on now. Yes. Come on. Anybody have an issue with that? All right, now we are going and simplifying. So this, of course, right here is negative 42. Does everybody agree with that? So now you tell me what 8 minus 42 is. You're all right. Negative 34. And then combine these two. So that becomes negative 24 radical 3. Good. What? Go.
All right, so I know that negative 14 radical 3 is the same thing as negative 14 times 3. But why
No,
would
it's
you-
not.
I know, but why would you times it?
14 radical 9,
Oh, all
right? Radical 3 times radical 3 is radical 9. But because we're smart, we know radical 3 times radical 3, we can just say is what? 3. Now you're with me. Right, good, good, good. Let's go. Let's knock out 36. All right, 216. Come on.
108 times 108.
Well, the reason why I don't use 108 and 2 is because 2 and 108, neither one is a perfect square. I would add the digits 2, 1, and 6. That adds up to what? 9. I know it's 36 times 6. You don't have to tell me. All right. I'm helping other people who don't see that. So 216 is 9, and 9 goes into 21 twice. So 9 times 24. Now 24 breaks down to what? 4 and 6. X to the 9th breaks down to
8 and 1.
Thank you. All right. Now I'm hoping some people in here know 216 is 36 times 6. All right. But if not, you just have to break it down. You have to find the perfect squares. All right. So with that, what's the square root of 9? What's the square root of 4? 3 times 2 times this, negative 18. Now what's the square root of x to the 8th? X to the 4th, but there's already a what? So that makes it x to the 5th. What's left behind? 6 and x. All right, I'm happy with that. All right, that was hard. All right, that was a tricky one. What? Go quick.
So like when you multiply the 6 like to the -3, why wouldn't you not include the x, like 18x?
Well, I did, but then I just multiplied. See, look right here. The x to the 8th is x to the 4th, right? So then I multiplied it, and that's, you with me?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, here we go. 38. Multiplying the top and bottom by what? Right, let's do that. 5 plus 2 radical 3. 5 plus 2 radical 3. All right, everybody should be able to look at the numerator and say it's just obviously what? What is it on the top? 30. Come on, this is too slow. 30 what? Plus what? 12 radical 3. Why are you saying is it not? 30 plus 12 radical 3. Anybody have an issue with that? What?
How'd you get the 30?
I
know.
Yeah, don't be afraid. 6 times 5. We're distributing. Now, what happens to the middle term? It cancels. So now practice one more time. 5 times 5. Minus. Okay. 2 times 2. Square root of 3 times square root of 3. 4 times 3. 12. Look at that. All right. So now I end up with 30 plus 12 radical 3 over what? 13. Yay. All right, here we go. Let's knock out 40. All right, we've done 90 a bunch. What's in 90? 9 and 10. Leave x to the 4th alone, but y to the 7th breaks down to what? 6 and 1. Thank you very much. Square root of 9. Don't forget the 3. Then x squared. Then what's left behind? 10y. Very nice. All right, hopefully you're just not writing things down. All right, hopefully you're not. All right, here we go, 42. Uh-oh, 225, is that a perfect square?
Yes.
Because what is it? 15 times 15. 25 times 9 also. And then both those, right? So is everybody okay with 225 is 15? So the answer is going to be negative 15 x squared y to the 4th. Very, very nice. Very nice. All right, here we go. 44. Okay, this is another good little practice problem here. Come on. All right, we're squaring. Come on now, this is the pattern. Here we go. 3 squared is what? 9. Middle term is always this times this. What's 3 times -2? -6 times 2. -12. Don't forget radical 5, right? Now, plus, what's 2 squared? What's radical 5 squared? 4 times 5. 20. Okay, so that one is a lot of mental math. All right, if you don't like that, you can just write out 3 minus 2 radical 5, 3 minus 2 radical 5, but that's good mental exercise right there. All right, so your final answer now is why 17?
Well,
29
yeah.
minus 12 radical 5.
I accidentally added it together, like.
All right. Anybody have any questions with that? All right, let's keep it going. 46, same principle. All right, come on. 5 squared. 25, middle term, 5 times -2 times 2, -20, and don't forget the radical 7. All right, now come on. Negative squared is a positive. 2 squared is, square root of 7 squared is, 4 times 7 is 28. So 53 minus 20 radical 7. All right, very nice. For those of you guys who are still with me, y minus 25. All right. And the last one, 4 plus radical 3, 4 plus radical 3. Yay, very good, man. 4 radical 3 plus 3 over 13. All right, those are all of the solutions worked out. Practice. The quiz will be just like that, probably half the problems. 25 questions tomorrow. All right, 25 questions on the quiz. I lost you at welcome to class, right?
What did you say?
I said I lost you at welcome to class, right?
Oh, buddy. Bro, I just want to go to the same place.
All right, Avery. I'm gonna post it right now, okay?
Okay. Thank you.